Hi, I've been here with Amtex Equipment with the second part of the video for Prowler 13 HP powered by Honda. Again, this is the second part of the video that we're doing for our latest client in overseas to be able to handle the new design and new update that we have done. In this video, I'm going to show you how to run the machine, how to control the heat, how to create heat, how to control the heat, and also at the end, I'll show you how to shut the machine down correctly. As far as the startup, of course, after checking the oil level in the engine and pump, there are four hoses need to be connected. You do have a starting from the bottom, which is water inlet. You connect your water supply to the water inlet. The next one will be your pressure hose that goes to the pressure outlet. Your orange hose, which basically pumps out and carries out the gray or dirty water, is going to be connected to the pump out or discharge. And of course, the last one will be the vacuum gauge. Now, if you notice, we have connected about 200 feet of hose, which almost about 70 meter of vacuum, showing the power of the Prowler. And as far as the pressure, we just went ahead and did 50. That way we can show you what really the machine creates as far as heat, and then you'll be able to see the heat at the one. Now, as far as when the machine is shut off, these are the position, these are the correct position for the different features. You do have your ignition, which is an off position. Your throttle is all the way to the minimum. Your choke and the fuel valves are completely to the left. When we're gonna start it, we're gonna move right before startup, you need to move the fuel valve to the right. Keep the choke on the left position. As you're cranking the engine, open the choke. Take a look. Now, every time you turn the Prowler on any of our machine, you need to allow it to run at low idle for about 45 seconds to kind of lubricate itself. Then after 45 seconds, you start increasing the RPM to a desired setting. Remember, faster you run this baby, harder and wilder she gets. So what I'm going to do, I'm about to show you the heat production of this baby. I will increase the RPM to full throttle. That way you'll be able to see the capability of the Prowler as far as the heat production. Now, faster faster you run the machine, harder she gets. We're gonna go ahead and increase our RPM to full throttle. She has pretty impressive suction. The pressure, like I said, it maintains itself even if you go over 200 feet. It is the suction on it is the suction power on every machine that wears down as you go further and further and getting further and further from the machine. The product can handle easily, as you notice, about 200 feet of hose. So again, we went ahead to start the machine. We allow the machine to run for about, let's say, 45 seconds at low RPM to kind of loosen up. Then the next step will be to increase your RPM to a desired setting, faster, harder, slower on the engine, cooler the water is going to be. So allow the machine to run for about 2 minutes ahead of your cleaning, ahead of your starting cleaning, to run about 2 minutes to kind of heat up water. That way now the machine is ahead of you. So you'll be using the water, if I'm about to use, it is the water that machine boiled or heated up 2 minutes ago. So that way, as you vacuuming, you'll be able to see the machine continuously make more and more hot water for your disposal. Next thing you're gonna do, we do have a valve on the side of our one, which basically you can add it to any kind of tool that you have in the market. You can go ahead and slowly open the side valve and start feeling for heat. Right now it's cold. But if you're about to see the heat start coming in, how do you know it's going to get real hot? There you go. Now you're about to see the suction, heat production of the baby. Very impressive heat production. Woo! Now, in order to maintain this type of heat, you have to kind of manage your time as far as using the wand. Don't just clean and back off because eventually the heater that's on this machine is going to start cooling off. But if you divide your time in between cleaning a section, a large section, let go of the trigger and do dry stroke like I'm doing, as I'm spending a few seconds dry vacuum, now my machine is regaining more heat from me. And then the next section, there you go, there's the heat again. You notice as I come back, I lift my wand. That way I allow a gulp of air going in, push the dirty water faster towards the machine. You can get the wand hard if you want. There you go. Again, let's go. Vacuum. Now, there's an area that maybe you need to put the wand down. If it's going to be only a few minutes, let's say 2 to 3 or 4 minutes, it's okay. You don't need to bypass. But if you happen to, let's say you need to put the wand down for an extended amount of time, let's say 5 or 10 minutes, and the machine is running out there, it is always good, just like I emphasize in all of our heat exchanger system, allow some of the water to start disposing out while you're away from the wand. As this water exits, gets pulled out by the suction and gets pumped up, but that way the machine maintains itself. In other words, as the unit is running, the temperature in the heat exchanger starts rising and rising to the point that there is no limit to it. But as you use the water out of the wand, the heat exchanger sends the hot water to you and replaces the hot water with the incoming fresh water from the water source. So again, like I said at the beginning, as you're running the machine, kind of divide your timing between cleaning and vacuuming. And then, like I said, if you need to put the wand down for extended amount of time, then you can always help the wand by opening up the bypass. But if you're going to be putting the wand down, so let's say do a spot treatment or moving some type of furniture out of your way, there is no need to bother with the valve that's on there. Now, once you put the wand down, the water that's inside of the hose, they're going to slowly cool off. Now, the hot water again is at the machine. I need to bring the baby back to me. Simple. Again, pick up the wand, bypass, start feeling for heat. Hot. Here we go. Vacuum, lift up the wand, allow a gulp of air to go in, go for the next stroke. There is the crazy steam again. You notice? I'm cleaning, I let go. Now I'm gonna vacuum because I want to allow my baby to build me more heat for my next stroke. Lift up the wand, let it breathe. Okay, so this battle is keep going and going and going till you shut off the machine. That's how the heat production of our heat exchangers are. It's a climbing temperature. As you're taking heat from it to use on the carpet, tiling grounds, and what have you, the heat exchanger, they kind of cool off. We're talking about, let's say, from 240 some degrees, the water temperature drops down to about 180 to 220. Then as you start vacuuming, the heat rises and reaches to 240, whatever you set the thermostat inside the temperature gauge. Now, as time goes by, your heaters are getting hotter and hotter because the actual body of the heat exchanger is the one that absorbs the heat from the engine. So the temperature of the heat exchanger box, compared to, let's say, 10 minutes into the operation, you will have higher and faster heat production as you're going more and more into the job. So here it is again. Again, if you're picking it up, bypass, heat up, right there. The heat always will be there. For smooth operating the wand, as the wand goes forward, let go of your left hand. As you come back, grab it and lift it. Alright, so far we learned how to run the machine, how to create heat. Prowler in action. Alright, now our next step will be how to shut down the machine correctly. The best position to set the wand is upside down. That way, if somebody accidentally stepped on it, you don't break anything. Have this valve off, because we're about to go, which is the same position you see right now. We're about to go to the machine and use the front valve on the machine to cool it off. So that one needs to remain off, because once you turn the machine off, there is no suction to get the bypass water from the wand away. That way you may cause flooding. So if we're going to shut down the machine, we're going to go through 4 steps. First of all, we make sure that the valve is off. Now the first step as far as shutdown, it will be to lower the RPM, allow the machine to come down. While it's running at mid-range or low RPM, go ahead and start opening the front valve on the machine, allow the machine to discharge all the hot water out. Now, while she's cooling off, that's the best time to remove the filter and all the fresh air to go into the blower and start drying out all your impellers. Now, while the machine is running, block the airflow to the blower a few times to kind of get the last piece of moisture out. Right before shutdown, if it's the last job of the day, give the baby a dose of WD-40 or any kind of lubricant. Let's go. That was step 1, lowering the RPM. Step 2, opening the front bypass gently. So step 3 will be to remove the filter and allow the machine run without filter. Notice she's discharging. She's still got about 200 and some degrees left. Now we're going to remove the filter while the baby is running and cooling off. By pulling this back, you'll be able to lift it. Step 3 was removing the filter, and while the machine is running with the valve slightly open to cool off, that way you're allowing the air to go through the blower. If you notice, there is a small piece of amount of water. We need to get rid of it by blocking the airflow. As we go and take a look, the temperature is down. This would be your final step. This is in case if it's the last job of the day. Before putting the clean filter back on, let's say when you're going to remove the filter, you're going to see some type of debris, dirt, hair, lens, whatever on the filter. But you do not shut off the machine putting the wet filter back on. So the first step was, if you remember, I lowered the RPM. I allow the machine to kind of calm down because I don't need it to make any more hot water. Second step was to open the bypass to the front. And if you notice, as I open that, the machine has started discharging a lot of heat out. That means the heat system is coming down and cooling off. My third step was to remove the filter and block the airflow to get the blower dried out. Now the final step will be giving the machine a dose of lubricant. 5 seconds of spray would be fine, so we're just gonna go ahead and do about 5 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, and 1005. All right. Our blower is dry. Our heating system is cool. It's lubricated. Now it's time to shut down the machine. Shut out. That should be off. Your throttle all the way to the minimum. Your choke all the way to the left, along with the fuel valve, and of course your cool-off valve closed. So everything, look, is minimum, close, off. The reason we want you to put both of these levers to the left, because it doesn't really matter that much for where the choke to be at the shutdown or where the machine is shut off, but definitely the fuel valve must be all the way to the left to prevent any kind of fuel running into the engine block and get mixed with the engine oil while the machine is off. Because remember, the engine runs off of gravity. In other words, the gas on the top rolls into the carburetor. But if you happen to leave the fuel valve on, you might be driving down the road and the carburetor needle into the carburetor might start bouncing, get stuck to the point that start draining some of these gas into the engine oil, which in that case, the engine is going to need the oil change. Now, if you notice, I waited till I shut down, cool off, lubricate, dry out, everything all done. Then I went ahead and after the machine is shut down, I go ahead and simply put the filter back on. Now, if you notice, if we take a look, most of our Prowler systems, pretty much all of them, and our APO system, automatic pump outs, they do come with inline filters. This, we do give them away with the machine. It is a great idea to use this because any kind of trash, debris, or what have you that you're bringing in from the floor, you want to capture them outside of the machine. That way your filter that's on the machine stays clean the longest. That way you'll be able to do multi-thousand square feet of job without stopping. Again, that was the second part of the video, showing you the power of the machine, how to run it, how to control the heat, and how to shut down the machine correctly. I want to thank you for joining me again for the second part of the video, and I'm looking forward to see you in near future videos.